Hello, it's Ella Harp, and today I wanted to talk about a very special recent project, which is the zero waist wedding dress that I made for my elopement back in January. This was a really fun project that I'm super excited to share. I'd always hoped since I first started sewing that if the time ever came for something like this, I'd be at a skill level where I could make something not too terribly horrible, and that seems to have worked out pretty well. Initially, I thought through a number of different design concepts that were all a little bit of a stretch, to be honest, for my skill set. I didn't feel like adding any unnecessary stress to myself, so I decided to go with something simple that I knew I could execute well, and something that I could potentially wear again at some point in the future. So I started with what I already have. Back in 2023, I worked up a pattern for my absolute favorite skirt that I had been making for several years prior, and is already my favorite sort of special event wear, which is my zero waist bustle skirt pattern. From there, I'd only have to make a top to go along with it. I thought it'd be really cool to try and make that zero waist as well, so I could have a completely zero waist wedding dress. I found some cool recycled, reused, and low waist content in my search for zero waist wedding dresses, but I didn't come up with much where the actual construction of the dress from the start was zero waist. So I decided I had to take on the challenge and share the results with you all in case there's anyone else that might be interested in doing something similar. For the skirt, I used my zero waist bustle skirt pattern exactly as written. It's available for $8 as a download on my website, and it's also zero paper waste because everything is based off of each individual's measurements and the fabric you have to work with, so there's no printing and taping. For the top, I used a vintage heart-shaped doily. I tried out a couple of different doily shapes, and the heart was the most straightforward because it required no sewing and also had the basic sort of sweet heart neckline shape already built in. The whole top is literally just one heart-shaped doily that is laced up the back with some stretch ribbon. Underneath, I got a couple of smaller round doilies and placed them over some skin tone match silicone inserts to make things a bit more opaque. The top turned out well enough and was fine for my sort of brief photo shoot type elopement wedding, but it was definitely the weakest link. It was a bit tricky to keep the doily in the right spot while also keeping the back from being tied too tight, because if the back was tied too tightly, it kind of made for a sausage in a rope type look that I did not love the look of. I tried it on a few times prior, but there's a big difference in standing in your living room versus being out in the world and wandering around. I decided last minute to add a pop of color, so I cut a long rectangular strip off of an old linen duvet to turn into a shawl scarf drape thing. Because the top required no sewing, my entire dress came out to 7 whole seams, which is kind of crazy to think about. My total material cost was $68, which I will break down in the description. In terms of replicating a similar outcome for anyone interested, the skirt is size inclusive up to 56-inch waist, and I've always found it to be very pleasant and secure to wear. The top is not very size inclusive as it stands. I would need a fairly significant redesign to make it feel more secure. I am hoping in the future, around anniversaries, to come up with some other zero or low waist alternatives that will address this, and I'll be sure to share when I do. The skirt could also be paired with any other zero, low, or regular waist shirt of your choosing. I turned the bit of excess linen that I cut off of my skirt material into a zero waist bag to store my wedding things in, and I sewed the doilies that made up my top onto the side. The stretch ribbon from the top is now my forever stash of homemade hair ties. I've currently left it in its sort of off-white state, but it takes to dye really well, so I might have fun with experimenting in different colors in the future. The linen shawl is now an everyday scarf that I can wear whenever I want to feel wedding-y. The skirt itself can also be taken apart and returned to its 2.5-ish yards of original fabric, but I decided to leave it in its current state because I'm sentimental about that and I want to wear it again. I hope you enjoy the footage that I captured over a song that I wrote for my guy. Thank you for watching and have a beautiful day.
Tall as you stand, fall.